Scouting talent for the NBA draft is one of the most difficult things imaginable, because every year we see a plethora of guys that are either seen as sure things that fail to live up to the hype, or guys that are afterthoughts, blow all expectations out of the water. There are so many factors that go into carving out a successful NBA career that goes beyond what they show off either at the college level or overseas, and quite frankly, there's a ton of luck involved with any draft pick. The situation they come into, the style of play run by their new team, their roles both in college and with their new teams, the talent around them, the coaching, and so many more things play a huge role in how well a rookie performs. When we see a guy drafted later than he probably should have been perform at a high level right away, we're oftentimes left thinking, how did he fall as far as he did? Which brings us to the topic of today's video. Today we'll be discussing Tyler Herro of the Miami Heat, who has been phenomenal during this Heat's playoff run so far and is coming off of a historic performance in Game 4 of the conference finals. Herro was a late lottery pick, and at the time, that was seen as a reach when the Heat took him that high, yet if a redraft was done today, he'd probably be top 5 without hesitation. We'll discuss what got him to this point in the NBA, what kind of player he was in college, the way scouts viewed him, and where the talent evaluators went wrong that resulted in him dropping to pick number 13, let alone where he was projected, which was later. Before we start though, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel, as all support is very much appreciated. Now with that being said, let's begin. Herro's journey to recognition in the basketball world began in Greenfield, Wisconsin, where he played high school basketball for Whitnall High School. He wasn't a product of one of the academies that develop top-tier recruits year in and year out, he wasn't named a McDonald's All-American, and he wasn't originally being chased by many big programs in college. However, being from Wisconsin, he originally committed to play for the University of Wisconsin and stay local, while still playing for a big-time program. But this commitment came before his junior season in high school, and over the next 2 years, he would shoot up recruiting boards everywhere. He had a very strong finish to his high school basketball career, averaging 33 points per game, and he eclipsed 2,000 career points for his high school career after that senior season, and as a result, more coaches began to take note. None other than John Calipari, coach of University of Kentucky, even came to a few of Herro's games to watch him despite him already being committed to Wisconsin, and with all of this new attention, Herro did the unthinkable and decommitted from his local dream school. Local fans were heartbroken, furious, and distraught over the decommitment, and they felt betrayed, but the appeal of going to a school like Kentucky that breeds NBA players like it's nothing was too great to overcome, and Herro would in fact go on to commit to play there. Herro was a 4-star prospect on ESPN, Rivals, and 24/7 Sports, and he was ranked in the 30s for all of their prospect rankings, which is pretty good for a guy from Wisconsin. To no one's surprise, Herro came to Kentucky and immediately began to garner more attention from NBA scouts. Kentucky always naturally gets a ton of attention, but Herro in particular stood out for his shooting ability, his ability to come through in big moments for Kentucky, and the sheer confidence he exudes on the floor. He averaged 14 points, 4.5 rebounds, and 2.5 assists per game in his only season at Kentucky. These are decent college numbers, and he showed off enough promise to garner enough hype to be projected as a first-round pick by many, but there were a ton of worries about him that resulted in him being seen as middle to late first-round talent instead of lottery talent, let alone top talent in the class, and this is where we get into the heart of the video topic. We've watched Tyler Herro flourish in this postseason as the Miami Heat are looking to be on the verge of an improbable run to the finals, and based on the conversation around Herro before the draft, not many people saw this coming at all. And if I'm being honest, I can't really blame them, because the Tyler Herro we watched at Kentucky is kinda different than the Tyler Herro we're seeing now. For as long as John Calipari has been the coach of Kentucky, he's done an excellent job getting his players drafted in the first round, but simultaneously, when they're at Kentucky, he has been known to compress the roles of his best players, which limits how often they can actually show off everything they have to offer on the basketball court. At the end of the day, a college coach's job is to win games, and they have a lot less patience with young players and their development than NBA teams do. Because of this, even though Calipari regularly brings brings in top talent, he typically utilizes them in a way that plays to their strengths, but doesn't allow them to go out of their comfort zones much at all. And as a result, we've seen plenty of Kentucky products prove to be much more balanced players in the NBA because they have more freedoms. For example, Bam Adebayo was essentially used as a rim protector and rebounder at Kentucky who really only got touches on offense around the rim. We now know that Adebayo is an incredibly versatile player on both ends of the floor with terrific court vision and passing ability. He can defend multiple positions with ease, and he even has a strong handle for a center, but you wouldn't have known any of that from just watching him at Kentucky. The same applies to Herro because he was never really trusted to create much off the dribble and was used a ton as an off-the-ball spot-up shooter and cutter to get most of his shots off. Some other things that worried scouts at the time of the draft, on top of his apparent lack of playmaking ability off the dribble, which as we all know now is not accurate and just a result of his role at Kentucky, were his streaky shooting splits and his subpar wingspan. Starting with the shooting splits, he only shot 35.5% from 3 in college, which is slightly below average, and as a player who was coming into the NBA as a shooter, it was a little bit worrisome. However, he was a phenomenal free throw shooter, making 94% on the year, and free throws have proven to be a good indicator of whether or not someone can become a great shooter. Then with the wingspan, Herro stands at 6'6", but his wingspan is only 6'3", and while most NBA teams would like at the very least to see a player's wingspan be longer than their height, Herro's was shorter. This can translate to struggling on defense, but honestly I think scouts put too much weight into this sort of thing. Outside of a rim protector with ridiculously long arms or a perimeter lockdown defender who can use his length to pester opponents, I think as long as you work hard on defense, you can make a difference, and that's exactly what Herro does. I'm not saying he's a good defender quite yet, but he's definitely much better than scouts gave him credit for being, because he's typically in the right place at the right time within the scheme of the team. He's gritty, and arguably his strongest asset on that end is his ability to snatch rebounds as a guard. He's not going to be an all-defense member or a lockdown guy, but he does his job within the system, and that's all you can ask for from a guy like this. After all of this, Herro was projected to be selected in the late teens or early 20s in the 2019 NBA draft, so when the Heat selected him 13th overall in the lottery, many, including Heat fans, questioned the pick, but it wouldn't take them long to come around and fall in love with Herro's game. Coming back to him in the NBA now, this year as a rookie, he actually posted similar numbers to his Kentucky season, averaging 13.5 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists per game. But the biggest improvement came with his three-point shooting, as he made 39% of his shots from deep. He came off the bench all season long, and actually watched rookie teammate Kendrick Nunn break out ahead of him. But in the playoffs, those two have seemingly swapped roles, and Herro has proven without a doubt that he's big time. He hasn't necessarily put up big numbers every game, but yesterday on the biggest stage with his team on the verge of an NBA Finals berth, he showed off more confidence than any rookie should ever have, and it paid off for him with a 37-point performance in a tight victory over the Celtics. He was taking people off the dribble, knocking down countless tough shots, and he did it all without even flinching or letting the pressure get to him. I think the lesson here is that Pat Riley and the rest of the Heat front office tend to prove that they know what they're doing in terms of talent evaluation. So when they saw something in Herro that nobody else did, there was clearly a reason behind it. Their gamble is paying off in a huge way now, and their future looks as bright as ever because of it. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below how good you think Herro can be moving forward. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.